So I have been reading again. This is a book about Aki Hintsa, who was a doctor, a Finnish doctor, and he was basically working closely with the Formula One drivers, and later on with the business leaders and so on. And his company was called Hintsa Performance. But this book is called basically Today I'm Alive, and Hintsa was diagnosed with cancer of the worst kind, and basically this book is his diary about the diagnosis and how he was feeling after that. And I'm almost through the end of the book, and it is really somehow how to describe it. Refreshing is not probably the correct word, but anyway, it's all these ideas that life is finite, but we don't really have to think about it very often. But here, in such case that unfortunately happened to Mr. Hintsa, he was really faced with the worst possible. Basically, he was given a couple of months to live, if that. And it is very interesting to read how his perspective changed, and he was basically a workaholic, and ironically he was coaching well-being for his clients to many successful Formula One champions, but he didn't do as he preached himself, and then he got the diagnosis and realized he has to switch his focus to his family and so on. But his diary, as is described in the book, it was a battle between hope and despair, and just you can see how his feelings were going from one direction to the other. And I think it's very good to read something like this, because it can happen, and if we don't live now and focus on the important stuff, then we might really regret that later. And then if such a case happens that you realize that your time is really running out, then you can have regrets. And I guess that's the worst thing that can happen. And I am trying to live now, or at least do these things not every day, but more often, and try to really think about it and start doing stuff that matters. And so just thinking about myself, I actually feel like I don't want to say this to offend anybody, because I know people have tough time and all these horrible diseases, and I haven't had any of those, but I have had a couple of close calls in my life, and I'm turning 40 soon, and I feel now that thinking about it, I feel like I'm a little bit on a borrowed time, or I feel like I have had many lives. Like they say that cat has 9 lives. Is that that the right phrase? That I've had a couple of myself. I was like 15 years ago or so, I was in a very bad car accident, and that was really close, and it was completely my own fault. I was younger, I was stupid, I was driving too fast, and it was terrible conditions, and it was wet, and I just drove out of the road, and the car went completely bonkers and crashed, and that could have been, if not fatal, it could have been like my legs could have gone, or other leg, or something like that. It was I kind of felt that there was something was protecting me if you want to say it like that. And or I felt that like it wasn't my time yet. And my father had just passed away. It was not long after that I had the crash, so I kind of felt like that was enough for a family at that point, if you get what I'm saying. But anyway, I have had a couple of not maybe so severe incidents after that, but things that were kind of like holy, you know, when they happen. Like, you can't see, but here in my apartment I have this small sleeping area on the higher floor. I don't know what's the correct term in English, but basically it's a very narrow space that I have to crawl when I go there, and I like to sleep there. It's very, you know, comfortable, and it's very protective in a way. And but anyway, the stairs there are quite steep, and I actually made the stairs again because of this. What happened that the platforms that the steps that you have to go up, they were very, very narrow, and you know, your feet could easily go in between them. And that happened to me one time. My feet actually got in between the last step and the floor. I was actually vacuuming, and I was bit uncareful, and my feet went in between the steps, and I almost, you know, fell over. And I would have fell over from the top of the stairs down, and my feet would have been stuck between the steps. But I was able to grab sorry, I'm lost for words, but I was able to save the situation by just grabbing the thing with your hand, and you know, stable myself. But that was one of the, and that's why I remade the stairs with the wider steps, so it's more safe. But and one time I almost hit my feet with an axe. I was just careless with chopping wood, and you know, I consider myself pretty good at that, but it was stupid. What can you say? Usually we make stupid stuff, and then something goes bad. But anyways, I feel like I have had these couple of really close calls, and I feel like I have already had a couple of extra lives, and I'm kind of wondering, how many of those do I have left? Maybe not a lot, so maybe I need to be careful. Not too careful, obviously, because you want to live and you want to do fun and goofy stuff, but just try to avoid these stupid mistakes that are usually easily avoidable. And so that's what I've been thinking about life. Obviously, everybody has a different perspective, and it changes when you get older. And my perspective is completely different than it was 10 years ago when I was 30. Like, you don't think ahead that much at that point. I was just, you know, I'm just starting my career in IT, and I'm gonna become this professional, and it's just, you're still drinking more, and you know, it's completely different. And maybe at this point in life and age, 35, 40, you start to, you know, think about more of this stuff. And you know, I talked with my mom the other day, and she is turning 70 now, and you know, we talk this and that, and we always have these very, very good conversations about everything, basically the topics of the day and politics and so on. But we're talking about life in general or something, and I asked her that how does she feel about especially now that my sister has a young child, only 6 months old. I was asking, how does she feel about that and seeing him grow up and so on. But she replied that she's not thinking about her own age and how long she has left, but she's thinking that how much is my mom able to see? how much is he able to see me, my sister, and her child grow. And so that is a perspective of an older person, because you start to realize that you can have 15-20 years left, but you can also only have 5 if something happens, 5 or 10 years. And so you don't see everybody get old, and so that was really something I really enjoy. That's why I enjoy talking with older people, because the perspective is different, and everything is different, and that's I guess that's all I wanted to say. But this reading this book from Aki Hintsa called "Today I'm Alive" is really eye-opening for some reason. Just seeing, because basically this is his diary of his last months on Earth, and seeing the happiness and the despair switch from one day to another is sad and happy at the same time. But it's that is the perspective at the very end, when you are forced to make decisions and realize that it's gonna be it soon. And I think it's good to think about that once every while and realize that hey, I still have plenty left, hopefully, if nothing unforeseen happens, and there's still all this great stuff I can do. And but also to keep in mind that pay attention to those close ones you have, and pay attention to the important things, because we usually just kind of forget about them and don't appreciate them. And I don't want to sound, or I don't mean that you need to become highly spiritual all of a sudden, but just just think about it once every while, and read something that makes you really appreciate everything, and I think that's enough. I think that's enough for me. And I'm very much interested in maybe spirituality, if you can call that, but I'm not a very religious person or spiritual person. But it's I think it's just good for yourself to just think about it at least once a week or once a month, and realize that everybody has their time. That's also a good and a bad thing at the same time, but mostly good. That's what I think. That's all I wanted to say, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.